Yeah.
And that's your traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
Thank you, Kathy. So we sent some people back into our event center with the good doctor, Dr. Rosenpenis. And I need to point out that the Great American Smokeout is not right now, is back in November, but it doesn't matter. You can quit smoking anytime.
Yeah, you don't have to wait for a calendar date to change your life.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Dr. Rosenpenis, we were listening in. We came in the part about drinking vomit through a straw.
Oh, it's very good. Yeah.
Which is, just lovely. And it seems like that really has an impact with people. The idea of that getting in your mouth.
Yeah. Now, it's as Steve said earlier, it's very visceral.
Mm-hmm.
And the visualization goes hand in hand with that. And Mike over here said to me is an acrid taste in his mouth.
Acrid.
Oh, good.
Good word to
that's
use.
what you're looking, because all those things are associated, the smell, the taste. And you paint a repugnant picture that locks onto that association.
Very repugnant.
Okay.
Yes.
So we had like 8 or 10 people in the crew that were in the session with Dr. Rosenberg, and we were going to put 2 of them on the mic here real quick. So we want to welcome Mike McGraw and Valerie Dean to our microphones, and we'll say hi to Mike first, since you got a name check here from Dr. Rosenpenis.
Yeah.
How long you been smoking?
Since I was like 14 or 15.
And how old are you?
44.
I can hear it in your voice.
Yeah, probably.
I hear that you got that. And would you have a smoker's laugh as well?
Probably.
That whole thing.
Yeah, a little bit.
Have you tried to quit before?
Yes, absolutely.
And what methods did you use?
Cold turkey.
Yeah. How long did that usually last?
Well, the best time I ever did, I never call it quitting because it's stopping. Right?
Yeah.
I always end up smoking again. I stopped for like 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I reaped all the benefits,
Yeah.
Less than a year ago, I tried stopping again and was a month in. Like past the few days, was feeling the benefits again, could smell, and still ended up creeping back in,
It's one of those things, I'm sorry, Preston.
That's all right.
Just that the fact that you can't control it, even though you're trying, makes you feel worse.
Yeah.
And it starts to cave in on itself, and you're like, oh, I'm a failure. I can't do this.
Yeah, it's a positive feedback loop of negativity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Totally.
Did something tip you to it, or did it just kind of happen?
What? To
Like
get back
to smoking again?
You know, interestingly, I stopped drinking like 2.5 years ago, and I figured quitting drinking would like help quit smoking. It didn't at all. It was like no relationship. And then I was like, I still wanted to quit smoking. I got 3 girls, I'm a dad, like I want to stop smoking. It's a terrible habit. But I couldn't do 2 vices at once. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And ended up just like smoking even more. Like,
Well, you
more
went
than
to a
pack day.
funeral, right, Mike?
Yeah, well, when I stopped for 2 years, the day I started again was my grandfather's funeral. This was 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah. And that can trigger some.
All the good stories of my grandfather. He was like this stoic dude. He fought in Pelly Lou and stuff, and like didn't share stories. But he had 10 kids. They're all outside smoking. It was in December. They're all outside smoking, shared stories. I'm standing out there freezing and like, let me get a cigarette.
Right.
That one cigarette got me right back to it.
It did it.
Stress.
Quickly. Yeah.
Stress does it, yeah.
All right, well, now you have something associated with.
Yeah.
Something gross and disgusting. And hopefully the moment, if you find yourself a little while from now, being tempted again, that you'll have this nasty reaction to it.
Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic.
He has the tape to listen to. He recorded the session.
Right.
So they're listening to it for a month, and that will really stick that right into their heads.
All right. Now, Valerie, how about you? What's your story? How old are you?
35.
How long you been smoking?
17 years.
17 years. How much do you smoke?
So recently more switched over to the vape, but going through multiple vapes a week, it's a lot.
The vaping is an issue for a lot of people. I mean,
you can do it everywhere
More
pretty
accessible.
much.
More
Yeah.
convenient. Mm-hmm. Yeah, most definitely. All right. And so have you tried quitting before?
Yes, but we're stopping.
With what rate of success?
Obviously, I'm here
Like
today.
0.
Yeah.
Do you have kids or anything like Mike?
I do. I have a 6-month-old.
Okay, so
There's your incentive.
there's
That's my
another
reason.
reason, right? Yeah. But still, it's got its claws in you, right?
Deeply.
Yeah. So how do you feel after this session? It probably, and let me ask Dr. Rosenberg before you answer that. Does it have to build, or is it like immediately I feel a difference? You know what I mean?
Well, usually 90% of the people will immediately feel like, hey, I'm not a smoker. Mm-hmm. So you got a 10% rate that, maybe the chair was uncomfortable that they were in, or I thought Mike was going to fall on the floor.
I was trying to get loose. I'm a big dude, and those chairs are not totally comfortable. You know what I mean?
You're right.
I was
I started like this, and I was like arms here, then down. Like,
I was standing behind him, and I said, I better move because if he falls, I'm dead.
Well, how do you feel, Valerie?
I feel good. It's a very strange feeling. My mouth is very dry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got like a strange taste when he was going through that visceral vomit
Use the audio.
description.
Yeah, listen to it. Keep using it. And I mean, again, I know we've said this. We've seen people walk out and never smoke again. So we hope that for you.
The B complex that they got to take, or a super B complex, will really help a lot. That actually takes the place of nicotine in the body.
Okay.
So anybody out there who's trying to stop, get some B complex and use it.
So I want to hear back from you guys. Today's January 31st. So February 1st of next year, reach out to us and tell us that you haven't smoked at all.
Yeah,
I want to hear that.
I hope that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Definitely.
We're pulling for you guys.
Yeah, you can do it.
All right.
Thank you.
Quititnow.com.
That's correct. Quititnow.com and the phone number 215-782-8414.
Excellent. You're done. You're cured. Mike and Valerie, and then we had Derek and Nyaka. Is that how you say your name? Nyaka. Joe and Matt and Mike and Chris are all are now former smokers.
Yes.
So congratulations.
Damn it.
Thank you, Dr. Rosenberg.
Thank you.
Great to see you. All right, we'll see you soon. All right, you guys can all hang out in the studio. We're going to continue on here for a moment. We got a couple of minutes to play with and some other things to talk about, and I did not want to let this get away from us. Today is National Hot Chocolate Day.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have the world's biggest hot chocolate fan
Right
here in our
here.
studio, Steve Morrison.
Yes.
Yes, he is a diehard. If some of us go for the bar, Steve heads for the hot chocolate.
He does.
Yes.
Yep.
Steve, have you ever tried I know this is sort of like a kid thing, I think, but the hot chocolate bombs? Like the big.
No, I've always wanted to. I've never had the full. I had one that I was told was inferior. So I don't think I've really tried a top level hot chocolate bomb.
Okay.
I referenced this before on the air, Steve. There is a place in Philadelphia called the Ritz-Carlton where you can go and have the most decadent, insane hot chocolate I've ever experienced. It is not cheap. It's insanely expensive.
What, do you know how much it is?
I don't really want to say on it. No, it's like
Like $15,
$25 or something.
A $25 cup of hot chocolate.
It's insane. I went there with my mom and my nephew and my son a few years ago, and my mom was like, "We're going to treat the boys to hot chocolate."
Is it loaded with stuff, or is
It's
it just
loaded with so much stuff. It is insane. But I will say this: it's like its own self-contained dessert, and the base of that dessert is hot chocolate.
All right.
All right. I need to go there and try it because the hot chocolate I had in Paris, I mean, it was basically like drinking chocolate syrup.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's so thick.
Yeah. So Carter and Caroline make that type of hot chocolate.
Okay.
And it's like you were drinking Hershey's syrup, but not exactly like that.
And it's
yummier than that.
Nothing against
but
Swiss
it's
Miss.
thick.
Yeah, but it's just powder and water, and
It's not.
Well,
I like to put my own marshmallows in there. But
So I'll give you some specifics on that, Casey,
Okay.
because believe it or not, there's a difference between cocoa and hot chocolate.
Oh yeah.
I never really
Just
knew
ask the
that.
Hallmark Channel.
No, I never knew it. So we make hot cocoa with cocoa powder, heated milk, or water and sugar. And we're able to do this thanks to a process developed by a father and son chemist. For the thicker, more flavorful beverage, hot chocolate is made from ground chocolate containing cocoa butter.
So in Harrods in London, went in and Nick, and Casey, to your it's syrup. So this literally felt as if they had melted chocolate bars, and that's what we were drinking.
That would probably be hot chocolate instead of hot cocoa, because they actually call it drinking chocolate too, like that. Not the act of drinking, but it's like a
type.
It's an adjective, drinking chocolate.
So I don't like hot chocolate.
no,
But I'm wondering, I don't like hot cocoa. I'm wondering, because I love chocolate, I wonder if I need to have like a true hot chocolate.
Right.
To see if I like that.
Do you like the hot chocolate, the Polar Express, the Colbrookdale Railroad?
I don't get it. I never order it, Steve, because I typically don't like hot chocolate or hot cocoa or whatever I'm drinking.
That is the sort of melted chocolate.
I'm going to have to try it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it'll rock your world.
So hot chocolate has been around longer than hot cocoa. In the early 1800s, Casparus Van Houten Sr. developed a process to separate the cocoa solids from the butter. His son, Conrad Johannes, made those fats more soluble in water, and together their processes made cocoa powder possible.
It will never work.
Yeah. And apparently they could.
Here we only got.
Before then, everyone drank hot chocolate before cocoa came around. This thicker, creamier beverage often offered medicinal benefits.
That's right.
For stomach ailments during the 19th century.
And it will cure paralysis.
In fact, long before the beverage's popularity in Victorian times, it served in ceremonial culture.
Right.
Humans, though, have been drinking chocolate for a long time. The Mayans likely created the first chocolate beverage 2,000 years ago.
And the urines.
The Aztecs also included a cocoa beverage as an essential part of their culture. By 1400 AD, when Europeans began exploring Central and South America, explorers brought chocolate and the beverage back to them to Europe from Mexico.
Isn't it wild that the Mayans were doing something so quaint and wonderful while they were cutting the hearts out of their,
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
Yeah.
their enemies?
Their sacrifices.
Who wants some cocoa? That was a great disheartening.
So there are health benefits to drinking hot chocolate. Cocoa contains significant amounts of antioxidants that may help prevent cancer.
So we're saying chocolate's
Cures
good.
paralysis, yes.
Have as much as you want.
Studies have shown
Great for boners.
the flavonoids in chocolate may have a positive effect on arterial health and memory.
Ooh, I saw the flavonoids in Las Vegas. They opened for the Blue Man Group.
Yeah, they're balancing.
They're
act. I've seen those
unbelievable,
guys before. So with that, I know we only have a couple of minutes and we got to take a break because we're going to get Tom Segura on. But I wanted to pass this along while talking about hot chocolate and the fact that you might drink your hot chocolate in a Stanley cup.
Ooh.
Do you know this story?
I do.
They have lead in them.
I don't believe it.
Okay. But Stanley is responding to claims that his products contain lead.
And they're saying, yeah.
Clarifying that, yes, lead is used in the manufacturing process, but the product needs to become damaged in order to expose the lead.
Oh,
See,
my
but
God.
that's what I was talking about with the Yetis is they can be damaged and then they like stop working. I don't know if it has anything to do with the lead and that being exposed.
I don't think it does. On the bottom of each quencher made by the beverage container powerhouse is a circular barrier made of stainless steel, which covers a pellet that contains lead. The pellet seals the product's vacuum insulation. Well, maybe it does have to do with that, Kathy.
Yeah.
And it is not accessible unless the stainless steel barrier comes off, which is possible but rare. A spokesman for Stanley said, our engineering and supply chain teams are making progress on innovative alternative materials for use in the sealing process. So they're working on fixing
Okay, so
it.
basically,
there's no problem, but we're going to fix it.
Yeah. Right. Wait, so does it give any indication? Can you tell if it's been broken?
If your
you don't-
nipples fall off,
So
you
it's
don't-
been broken.
So you can stop using it.
The company said all of its products follow all U.S. regulatory requirements. So the liquid inside a Stanley mug does not come into contact with the pellet. There's a little chance or little or no chance of lead exposure from drinking liquid inside the container. The risk is if the circular cover comes off and someone touches the exposed lead and then touches their mouth or nose. So this all came to light. There's a woman, her name is Tamara Rubin, and she is a lead poisoning activist. She is called the Lead Safe Mama, and she first brought attention to this in March of last year, so almost a year ago.
So she's the LSM.
Rubin earns a commission on the products she recommends that are purchased through her website, and some of her recommendations include competitors to Stanley, but she's been passionate about this since her 7-month-old son became exposed to lead paint dust during a home renovation and suffered permanent brain damage.
Do you remember the commercials, the PSAs they used to run on TV about the paint chips? It was a big thing, a big drive. I think in the early 80s.
Okay.
About that, because kids will, I'll eat this.
Yeah, they'll put stuff in their mouths.
Yeah.
That's what they do. So she now advocates against use of lead in any products that enter your house. She says that parents often send her items that they suspect could contain lead, and she uses her XFR technology, the same $35,000 spectrometer instrument used by the CPSC to test for the presence of lead and other heavy metals. She says that she tested several Stanley tumblers that people have sent her after the protective cover at the bottom has come off, and she has found lead in those.
Oh no!
Well,
I know.
What
you need
cup
to
am
have
I
this.
gonna use now?
You can treat the inside of your Stanley cup by using a little bit of belladonna. Keep rubbing that in there.
Yeah.
It's a poison.
And if you put asbestos in there, too,
around,
it'll
just
cover it.
like a salt in a margarita.
Yeah.
And a little roundup. Her company is responsible for 5 product recalls.
Wow.
Like she's pretty.
And she has
She's legit.
Yeah, she's legit.
And she has a competing line of
No.
No.
She'll.
To me, that'd be this one sucks.
No, if you go to her website, she lists all of the safe products. Like she'll test them all, and then she'll give moms, suggestions on what products to use instead of whatever the ones that contain lead.
Yeah, so that's what she's going to do. I mean, if she wants to say, we've tested these are bad. We've tested we looked at these are good. It's part of the process.
Go ahead, Nick.
I'm sorry, Steve. Kathy, this might be a stupid question. Why do you prefer the Stanley Cup over the Yeti? Because I love my Yeti. I've used it for a long time, and to me, it's just as good. But maybe that's an ignorant question.
Because it's as big as my large Yeti, and my large Yeti won't fit in the cup holder. That's really
It's all about
what I like about it. The straw is great. It's convenient. I don't really care about that, but my Yeti doesn't fit in the cup holder.
Hang on a second, Nick. Let me see your.
Yeah, but that's not as big as this, Nick. This is like the big huge Yeti.
How much do you need?
Oh,
All of it.
I'll drink this before the end of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, refills are also possible.
I don't use the filter here.
He doesn't want that.
I give up.
Yeah.
How
I
big
found
is your cup, Nick?
You know what I found out about Kathy the other day? So I bought I went and bought a whole big package of sponges
Oh yeah.
to put into the kitchen because sometimes there's no sponge around. It's like, well, how the hell am I supposed to wash
Clean this.
anything that I have?
Yeah.
And Kathy brings her own sponge to work.
Okay.
I've had my own sponge here for years.
That doesn't make it any more acceptable.
I walked in one
my-
time and Kathy was ironing her sponge in the office.
Wait, my own sponge. I have my own soap. I because there's no scent to it. I don't like the.
Okay, that I get.
So do you go to the bathroom with that soap?
No, I'll take it to the kitchen.
Okay.
It's just like a little thing. I can carry it when I take all my coffee stuff
He means
there.
to wash your hands after
wipe.
you've gone to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry. Do I go to
when
the
you
bathroom to wash my hands?
No. After you're done using the bathroom and you go to wash your hands, you don't use your own soap for that.
Oh, no. This is dish soap case.
Okay.
the unscented dish soap. No, the soap here at our at the station is actually
Pretty
unscented.
good?
It's unscented.
Oh, well, yeah. All right. Good for you.
So anyhow, just keep that in mind. Check your Stanley
You're all
Cup.
going to die.
All right, we have to take a break because Tom Segura is scheduled to join us here shortly. He is going to be in Atlantic City over the weekend, so we will do that, come back, chat with him, and spend a little bit of time. And after that, we'll get to the Bizarre File. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Natural traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
All right, thank you very much, Kath. Our next guest is going to be appearing in Atlantic City Friday and Saturday. It shows both nights, one on Friday at 8 o'clock and one at 7 o'clock on Saturday. The Hard Rock.
Yes.
Which is great. And before we bring him on, I would like to play a little piece of audio because he and a few other people that we feel that we have a wonderful relationship. We're all hanging out on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Yeah.
And it was Tom and Bert Kreischer and Ari Shaffir.
Yes.
And apparently our names came up, which is pretty damn cool. And so I want to play a little bit of this for you before we bring him on. Here we go.
Even I did Kimmel last night. When you go there, you're like, all right, I'm going to, you do a pre-interview with a producer. It still rides on the fact that he's engaged and wants it to go well.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And he totally was, and it was really fun, and it went well. But in the radio days, a lot of times those radio hosts, sometimes there's like the Philly guys, Preston and Steve.
Steve Gold.
So they come in, you come in, and they're like, they know questions, they know what you've been doing.
Yeah.
So that makes the experience fun.
They're fun. Yeah.
They're
happy
fun.
to see you. They're great.
But you go into places where they're just they're literally like, you're born in Cincinnati? And you go, yeah. And they'll go,
trying to lead you.
So tell us something about that. Like, what?
Oh, that was nice to hear.
Yeah, they're always very kind.
Cincinnati's own Tom Segura is on the program. Hey, Tom. How you doing, man?
What's going on?
It's funny to hear that, Tom, because for years when we were we had this battle, sort of Sisyphus battle of getting guests initially in the early days of the show, and it was fighting. There were a lot of shows out there, as you were referencing, that the comedians or whatever would have had bad experiences with, and we really had to work hard to make sure that we were countering what they'd experienced out on the road. So that cracks us up, that exchange.
You guys are the best, man. I mean, there's every comic can tell you so many stories about, walking in and out of places where you're like, God, that was horrible. and the truth is, like, it takes an effort. It takes an effort from both parts, but it's like I always appreciated doing your guys' show because it was always a fun time. You guys always made it like welcoming and it, like you wanted to be there, you wanted the comic to be there, and that changes the whole experience. It makes it like a vibe.
Ages ago, like over 20 years ago, we had Patton Oswalt on, and Patton had some bad experiences with radio shows, and he came on with kind of a chip on his shoulder about the interview, and it wasn't good. I mean, we were doing our best, but he just wasn't into it because of that. We had him on last year, and he's like, we got done and after the interview, and he's telling me, he's like, oh my God, those are the greatest guys. I would tell them they can call me anytime they want to and all this.
Well, you know what the key is just a respect for your time. And anybody worth their salt, as you always deliver, you give something to the audience. That's all we're looking for. But, a conversation rather than an interrogation is kind of the mindset. But
I think that everybody like now who's like been a part of this podcasting era they're just used to conversation.
Yeah.
So when they meet radio guys who are like, we're going to have a conversation, it's like, oh, great. But I remember walking into this station one time where they're like, all right, you'll be on in a few. And you're like, okay. And then the guy comes out and he's like, all right, what are your 3 like lead-ins? And I was like, what? And he goes, give us your 3 lead-ins. And I go, oh, I don't have any. And he was like, what do you mean? I go, I don't have any lead-ins for you. You can ask me whatever you want to ask me. And he's like, he panicked. So he ran back into the booth and brought out another guy. And they're like, you got to have at least a lead-in. And I go, I don't know, man. I got shows this weekend. You can ask me where they're going to be.
Yeah.
He was not happy, dude.
Well, listen, about shows, I know that you and Bert have got a gig in Vegas when the Super Bowl's happening. You're playing the MGM Grand. And I wanted to ask you about that because we had a lengthy conversation earlier this morning about Taylor Swift and her getting from Tokyo to Vegas in time. And I'm curious, are you going to be flying in on a private jet? We've heard that that's your preferred mode of transportation these days.
I'm actually with Taylor.
You son of a bitch. Unbelievable. Yeah.
I got some people in Tokyo. Dozoyorosku tondes. I'm Tom in Japanese.
That's excellent. That's excellent.
Now, we'd have people calling in telling us of the private jet experience because none of us have experienced that before. And
I've haven't experienced that. We got to get you on one of those.
Yeah, we do.
It.
Yes, we do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We realize, Tom, that the real methodology is to befriend someone who has the ability to travel on private jet. But I mean, honestly, especially with a schedule like yours, and this precision, the ability to fly directly to an airport that's probably much closer to where you're going than the regular airport and all that stuff, I get it. And if we had the wherewithal, we'd be doing it. So what would you say?
Yeah, I think the first thing, here's the truth about it. And it sounds like, oh boy, but it's the truth. The first time you're just like, you're taken by the, oh my God, there's nobody else on this. There's, like the luxury of it.
Yeah.
But when you do it like on a tour, what it becomes a time travel machine because you can finish your gig and like the gig is over and it's 11 p.m. and you can go straight to the airport, get on a plane, land in the next city, and then you're there for the, you know what I mean? You don't have to do like, well, we'll spend the night and then we'll leave in the morning. Like, so you're there like 2 hours later. And it becomes your thing where when you're done with that routing, you don't feel like you're about to die because you have just transported immediately after shows to the next city.
I clearly understand. And on a less, private jet sort of mindset, I always tell people if you're traveling, if you can do it, if you're traveling a long distance, wherever you get to, you arrive, you're so damn tired, like a vacation, you're going to lose a day and a half because you're groggy. Try to fly business class or first class, however they recommend these days, because the investment will actually give you a return when, with
I agree.
There, see? Then Tom Segura approved. Very cool.
put the stamp of approval on it, dude. There you go. Let's all fly first.
So with the Super Bowl, have you done? I assume you'd be going to the game. Oh, you guys did it last year?
Yeah, you guys were in Phoenix last year, were you not?
I did not do that. That was Bert, and he was there with I think Big J Okerson, I think Mark Norman, Shane Gillis, maybe another couple comics. So like that was kind of like more like a festival experience. It was like you got to see like 5-6 guys or something like that.
Okay.
I have to ask you with that collective, and old friends of the show, and the term Rogan sphere has been floating around, almost like you guys are the comedy Rat Pack. Do you like that?
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool. I was curious as to whether or not you approved or disapproved of that.
I haven't even really thought. I mean, I guess it makes sense when people go like. Sometimes people are like, "Where the hell are you guys from? How did we get you guys? Like, where are you from?" And then it just makes sense to them that it's like that. I mean, the truth is, yeah, like, I got it. I mean, I met Joe in 2007, and he started the podcast in 2009. I started mine in 2010, and then it just has been like, I've been there for the ride of seeing it being like this weird thing that's on his message board on his website to like, obviously it's like the biggest kind of media thing in the world. So yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense. They're like, you guys all we know you because of him. And we're all super appreciative of his like generosity with his show. And he's always been like a big champion of other comics. He's always been like, you got to see this guy. And I try to do the same thing. If I find somebody or I see somebody that I think is great, I try to bring him on the road or tell everybody about him. It's just like this thing where you just try to go like, here's somebody else who's really funny.
Yeah.
So being associated with his name and like the whatever you call it, it works for me, man.
Love to see the nurturing. I mean, honestly, that's a lot of ways. A lot of times how we get introduced to people we might not otherwise be aware of. I have to compliment you also with your skills over the years. I, by chance, about 4 weeks ago, happened across your interview with Quentin Tarantino. Man, I loved it.
Thanks.
It was excellent, Tom. And you've talked about Bert and his fanboying out. You were in control, but I could tell you're a huge Tarantino fan. But man, he opened up during that interview. It was sensational.
Oh, thanks so much. I really had I had so much fun doing that. I was so excited that he was coming on, and I am a huge, huge fan. But I tried to not be too much of a fanboy and just try to keep it like, hey, I have real questions for you that I want to know. That was the thing is like, I was just trying to be curious. I was like, I really want to know how this works. I really want to know how you did this. And he was great. He really, and then at the end, of course, he was like, are we going to talk about my book? And I was like, oh, I haven't read your book. He was like, that's why I'm here, dude. And I was like, oh, yeah, my bad.
Well, you got what you needed.
Yeah, and you're way cooler at playing it off than Bert is. And I got to say, I love the way I could never be in your circle of friends because you guys have a thick skin and you're able to really hammer each other, and then you just kind of let it roll off your back or whatever. But one of my favorite experiences watching you guys in your podcast is when you realize that his cooler had Kool-Aid in it. His cup had Kool-Aid in it, and you just assumed that he was drinking
it
water.
Was incredible.
But it was so funny because he's your best friend. And you just see how funny that is, and you just couldn't control, and you couldn't control your laughter. You were just genuine, you probably. I've noticed that comedians don't laugh all that much, especially at other people's jokes and stuff. But when something or somebody is funny, the way that was, you just couldn't control it.
It was totally authentic. I mean, obviously, you can't manufacture a laugh. I just couldn't. I was like, man. I was just thinking about how sweet a sip of Kool-Aid is, and I was like, "You're drinking 64 ounces at a time?" And he was like, "I drink 2. I try to drink 2 a day." I couldn't wrap my head around it. But everybody sees people with that. They're like, oh yeah, that's great. You should be drinking water. He's like, no, it's Kool-Aid.
But Tom, the way he said he was so genuine, he answered right away like, oh, no, it's not water. It's Kool-Aid.
Yeah,
Like it was supposed to be normal.
And you asked him what flavor, and he said red.
Red. Yeah.
By the way, that's just shy of drinking insulin.
It is. And I have traveled all over the world, and I'm telling you, people say different things, they'll say like bikes, like an old joke of mine, or they'll reference, I just saw like Sledgehammer, and they'll make reference to things. But probably the thing that people yell at me either the most or second or third most is they'll just go Kool-Aid, man. And like I've been at a urinal and had a police officer at the next one. He goes, that Kool-Aid thing is so great, man. I'm like, oh, cool,
dude,
thanks.
Everyone can commiserate.
You need to, Tom, you got to set this up as a prank sometime. Totally unsuspected him. Get someone dressed in that giant Kool-Aid outfit and literally bust through a wall while you guys are doing your podcast. Like somehow or another have a breakable wall ready to go.
People send us like artwork. They do drawings of it, and they always put his face as the Kool-Aid guy. Yeah. Like there's tons of Kool-Aid stuff that comes in.
Absolutely. I wanted to just ask, because obviously in preparation for your tour, so you put a lot of work into you and Bert, your marketing machines, and you approach it in slightly different ways. But the video you did with Tony Hawk, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there's a promotional video for the tour. How did you get Tony on board? You go to this vert ramp, and the bit is hilarious. But did you know Tony before that?
So I'd met Tony before. We'd done a podcast before. He's kind of like pretty connected in the podcast comedy world because he has one. So we'd had one and we had like a good time. But then this kid Taylor Stevens, who I work with, who does a lot of promotional videos for a lot of people. He works with Tony and he's been working with me. So he actually pitched the idea of doing something together. And I was like, yeah, I love it. And then I sent over like some ideas for it, and then Taylor threw some in. And then once Tony approved, I got to tell you, like, as far as somebody being easy to work with and so down to earth for something that is, we did like a very low rent version of it. It was just me, Taylor, my friend Rami, and basically Tony and his place.
Wow.
I mean, he just gave us take after, like, oh, you need to do that again? He gets up on that vert ramp. He's 56.
Yeah.
And he's just doing like crazy, tricks and turns and stuff where you're like, oh my, and then he just jumps off of the vert ramp when he wants to get down.
Yeah.
It's really insane. I'm having like a panic attack.
Yeah, I can imagine, because no one has ever stood. If you stand up there, it looks, oh, that's just the top of the vert ramp, and then you get up and you realize, oh no, this is up pretty high.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, like the little things where you're like, he'd change his clothes back to like what he was wearing before we were shooting, and I was like, damn, I'd really love to get that shot again. Go, oh, okay. To change his clothes again, come back, put on all his gear, do all the things again.
That's
like
cool.
he was like that. I couldn't believe how, it was like the most down to earth, easy to work with guy.
I love when you turn to him and he's Tony Hawk and you say, get ready to fly with eagles.
So good.
Yeah. We broke laughing a lot because the whole bit was me being like, hey man, you don't know what you're doing. And he was like, I'm sorry. I was like, give me your board. I'll show you what's up. And he's like, okay. I was like, hey, Hawk, the eagle has landed. I have to the eagle's nest. Yeah.
So anybody listening right now who has not seen Tom's latest special, it's on Netflix right now. It is great, and I'm looking forward to this next hour. I'll be at the show on Saturday night, and I saw your special essentially live last year in Atlantic City, and I wanted to ask you about this thing that had happened. Where as you are coming out on the stage, like the lights and the sounds are like, hey, everybody, let's go crazy. It's Tom Segura. And everybody's going crazy. And as you're coming out onto the stage, a dude is fighting in the front row and ends up getting kicked out. And it was funny because then you just became a spectator because nobody could pay attention to what's going on the stage. Yeah.
It was a melee. I mean, it was like, so what happened was, the bigger a venue gets, audio sometimes, like you can't really hear what's going on, right? In huge rooms, and that's a pretty big room. It's about 5,500 seats, and it's kind of like it's like oval shaped. It's like a half arena. So like when you're backstage, you can hear noises and things, but you can't clearly make out what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember that like I was standing backstage, Kirk Fox was on stage opening the show, and then through the speaker, I can kind of hear him go like, hey buddy, hey man, hey, seriously, I need you to like take it easy. Wow. So I kind of walk into this side stage pocket, and I'm like, what's going on? And then I hear him start up again, and then I hear him go like, hey guys, seriously, man, I really need you to calm down, okay? And so I'm like, what's going on out there? And they're like, well, there's a guy in the front row, and he just won't stop like yelling stuff out. And they go, we think it's going to be too much of a distraction and too difficult to remove him right now. So we're going to wait for the transition. Like as you walk on, we'll just come and we'll just escort him off. And I'm like, okay, like that makes sense.
Yeah, the
So
crowd's
I
clapping and
literally-
everything. People would be distracted by that and not see what's
They'll be
happening. Yeah.
distracted by that.
Yeah.
So as I'm walking on stage, like you're waving, like, hey, thanks everybody. Grab the mic. I see yellow jackets, say security. I see 3 and then 4 and then 5, 6, 7, 8. All of a sudden there's like 15. And this guy's like, he's like, Tom. And I'm like, hey, he's like, they're trying to throw me out. And I'm like, yeah, I can see that, man. He's like, I'm here for you, buddy. I'm here for you. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do. I just got on stage.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not going anywhere. And then his girl stands up, and I have a security guy that goes to all the venues. She throws a drink on him. Starts, right? And she starts saying, and like, it's like she's trying to get hit. Like, it's like she, you know what I mean? Like someone has been here before.
Right.
And she's like, she's trying to provoke him, but he's too savvy and trained to like fall for it.
Yep.
So he's like, he's not having it. Dude, this guy is big. He's a big dude. He's probably like, I don't know, maybe like 6'1", 6'2", but he's like 300 pounds.
Yeah.
And he's like dragging people down. They fall into a row.
Uh-huh.
So instead of like getting out, they fall into so now they're laying at the feet of other people. They're trying to drag him out. They take his pants off.
Oh my God.
His pants come off. Awesome. He's butt naked. He's completely naked.
Oh no.
And he has 12 guys. That's how many guys it's taken to get this guy. And I'm like, I watched them drag him out. The whole arena is watching this whole thing unfold. I have not said a word yet.
Okay, I was wondering if you were commenting on that.
No, he's just watching. He's got his foot up on the monitor, and he's just kind of just sitting there, just observing everything that's going on.
It's a little pre-show.
Yeah.
And then they finally like get him out. And I turn to the crowd and I go, well, you don't get that at a Sebastian show, do you?
Nice.
It was just kind of on from there. But like, I was like, what the hell happened there?
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, they go, we took him out, and it was by the time he got out, there's probably 25 security people out in the hall with him. A couple hours later, we're walking through the casino floor. Dude, we see him on the casino floor. I was like, that doesn't get you arrested here?
Yeah.
Right.
No.
You know,
they were like,
Tom, when something like that, so that happens at the very beginning of your set, and you've got work to do, and you're a professional, and you slide into things, but did you completely forget about it by the end of it, or was it slightly in the back of your mind, or did somebody have to remind you that even happened later on?
No, it was so over the top, because sometimes you have like these crazy things happen. Obviously, if you do enough shows, you're going to have some things go sideways.
Sure.
I mean, I was in Baltimore, and one of the guys in the balcony peed on another guy.
Oh my God.
Well, was he peeing at someone in the balcony or below? Because that would be pretty funny.
Well, he peed on somebody in the row below him because he thought that guy was heckling, and he was like, I got Tom's back.
There you go. There you go.
What a good friend.
Yeah.
I love when your fans have your back.
Yeah, it's like, dude, this is insane. Like, So, I mean, but that's the kind of thing I learned about after. But the guy in AC, it was so intense, and it was at the beginning of the show. Like, there was a part of me, you know, when I was waiting for that to unfold, that I was like, oh, I don't know if this show's going to happen right now, because it had the momentum for a moment of just becoming a brawl, like an all-out brawl. I was like, oh boy. But yeah, no, it was the tough part was getting the audience to be like, okay, we're here now.
Yeah,
I mean, you have to kind of go, that happened, but we're here now.
That's like going in after the Ted offensive and trying to do a set. You know, it's not going to quite go like work. Let me ask you. So, there was a spate of comedians on stage, established comedians getting charged a little bit after the whole Chris Rock slapping thing, and there was much made about that. But is the environment still pretty even keel at most clubs? Is the perception that they want to project is that it's the Wild West for performers, but from your reckoning, how is it? Is everything pretty much the way it always was?
I think so. I think that for the most part, people are mostly good and people are mostly well behaved. That's the reality.
Right.
You always have you have the outliers out there who are there to disrupt and make it about themselves. The reality is, 99% of the time, that's about booze. That's booze related.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's that's just the thing, man. It's the common denominator in almost all these things. But yeah, I think for the most part, people are pretty well behaved and there to protect you. But yeah, you always have to be aware that there's definitely that element of crazy that's
something
out there.
could flare up. Definitely. Hey, Tom, I've been mentioning the shows in AC, but you're in Reading tomorrow night, I think.
Yeah, Reading, PA tomorrow. Yep.
Okay, that's close
You
enough
can
here.
get there, too.
Plenty of people can make it over there. What venue are you playing?
Something Santander. Is it Santander?
Oh, Santander. Yeah.
That's a good run.
We keep trying to figure out how the hell to pronounce that thing. Santander.
Santander. We had the lady on.
But some guy that worked there said it was pronounced different than that, if you remember. Santander or something.
Hey, man, I just go where they send me.
Yeah.
As long as the check comes, you're good.
I hear you, man.
And you're back in Cincinnati on May 4th, so you can do some Cincy jokes.
Oh, boy. Yeah. They always try to make it a big thing, like, you're coming home. I'm like, I left when I was 9.
I've been working for this moment.
Well, listen, man, we hope you enjoy your time in our area. And we appreciate you popping on here. And tickets available at tomsegura.com. You can get them through the Hard Rock as well. But Friday and Saturday in AC at the Hard Rock. But Reading tomorrow night, which should be pretty cool. And then someday come through Philly again and let's spend some time together, man.
Appreciate you guys, man. Thank you so much for having me.
We appreciate you, bud. All right, Tom Segura, guys. Awesome. And you're right about this kind of Brat Pack type of sensation that these are the guys.
You know, each one of them in the collective is a solid comedian. It's not like they're riding coattails and that they've just been unfairly selected and doing a line cut. They're all great.
And that pack is growing too. So, he had mentioned Neumann and also Ari Shaffir, and then Shane Gillis is part of that crew. Yeah.
Need to mention that Tom was calling in on our Xfinity Mobile guest line.
Oh, I love that. That's my favorite line.
Are we doing the Bizarre File now?
Let's get it done.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you this morning by Special Olympics Pennsylvania, inviting you to join Nick McElwain and Team MMR at the Philadelphia Polar Plunge, February 10th, Citizens Bank Park. Info at phillyplunge.org. We'll begin with this. Police are seeking a man accused of stealing nearly $30,000 in underwear. Now, initially, when I read the headline for this story, I'm thinking Victoria's Secret or Nordstrom or someplace, high-end place like that.
Rack up an amount like that.
He stole $30,000 in underwear from apartment laundry rooms, according to Colorado officials.
Was he stealing them for wearing or sniffing?
I don't know. Officers searching the 39-year-old man's home found more than 500 panties.
Well, my question has been answered.
Bras and pieces of lingerie stolen over a 3-year period.
What are you looking for?
The stolen underwear belonged to more than 30 women and children between the ages of 6 and 69.
Oh, my God.
Investigators identify the accused thief after posting security photos online in July.
Yes, officer, someone stole my bloomers.
After Your unmentionables.
Yes.
After a lengthy
Just embarrassed because I think there's a little pee-pee in there.
after a lengthy investigation, a national warrant had been issued for the man.
Cutting a rug at home and a little pee leaked out.
A national warrant has been issued for the man's arrest on felony charges of burglary and theft.
The story is funny, and then the kid underwear kind of makes it real creepy.
Yeah, that's pretty disgusting. All right, veteran Christopher Stoltz admitted to faking using a wheelchair, which led to an increase in his monthly benefits. And it's worse than that. Stoltz began to claim in 2003, so it's been over 20 years, that he could no longer use his feet, and he collected $660,000 in benefits since then.
So, but his downfall was appearing on So You Think You Can Dance.
The 49-year-old pleaded guilty on Thursday and will be sentenced on May 6th. Stoltz was apparently seen on social media without a wheelchair. In 2021, he used a wheelchair while inside a Boston VA medical center, but upon leaving the facility, he stood up, put the wheelchair in his vehicle, and then he went shopping in a mall on his own 2 feet.
Do they suggest as how much of an increase you would get for being in a wheelchair?
Well, yeah, he collected $660,000.
Wow.
Yeah, so he is facing up to 18 months in prison for that. A monkey is on the loose after escaping from a wildlife park in the Scottish Highlands.
Scottish monkey?
Yeah, the Japanese macaque found its way out of its enclosure.
You'll never take me alive.
At Highland Wildlife Park on Sunday morning. Staff at the park urged the public not to approach the primate. The macaque was reportedly spotted eating nuts from a bird feeder.
He's the Braveheart of monkeys.
Yeah. Sunday morning, resident Carl Nagel said,
"It's the damnedest thing I ever saw. A monkey!"
He said, "I looked out the window and there he was, proud as punch.
But dear God, that bird has arms.
Standing against the fence, eating nuts that had fallen down from one of the bird feeders."
The nuts are paid for with my own sweat.
Highland Wildlife Park confirmed
Come over here and kill this thing.
The monkey's escape on Facebook, and a search has been launched. The wildlife park houses a large group of Japanese macaques after successfully breeding the species. The Japanese.
Leave me alone. I'm inside sniffing my panties.
The
same guy?
Yeah, same guy.
Man.
The Japanese macaque, also known as a snow monkey, is the most northernly living non-human primate, by the way.
They're beautiful. Have you ever seen them? They'll go into the hot springs.
No.
And there's loads of basically they're the only species that uses hot tubs.
All right, we have one last story. Let's end with this one. With the 2024 NHL All-Star Weekend approaching, Toronto is preparing to welcome the All-Stars to its city, and one business is taking the opportunity to roll out the welcome mat in a unique way for any players who are looking for some extracurricular activities. A photo shows that Fillmore's Gentlemen's Club in Toronto is offering free lap dances to all All-Stars.
There you go.
It says on the marquee out front.
What could possibly go wrong?
Well, according to the Billboard, ID is required possibly to keep any enterprising hockey lookalikes from trying to take the offer. The NHL...
Hi, I'm just in from Scotland.
The All-Star Weekend takes place this coming weekend from the 1st to the 3rd. Each NHL team send at least one player to the event outside of captains and players participating in the skills competitions.
I think the industry, so to speak, they once calculated which of these events, whether it be like the Consumer Electronics Show or, that are more likely to benefit prostitution.
Yep.
And I forget which one, but it's whatever event it was the last thing you would expect to generate the best income for prostitutes.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, they're enterprising young women.
Absolutely. Their business.
And that's it in the Bizarre File.
There's a great podcast for hockey fans. It's called Spittin' Chicklets, and the guy on there named Paul Bissonnette, who's very funny. And he said, Preston, when this story leaked yesterday, he said, did they happen to mention anything about former ECHL All-Stars looking for a discount to the same club?
Nice. All right. As we take a break, I want to give away 3 of these. Galentine's Day. It's a sorority party that we are going to have on February 13th. It's a Tuesday night, but we're heading out anyway. 6 to 8 p.m. at Jack's Bar and Grill inside Rivers Casino. If you're at least 21 years of age and you're one of our sisters or would like to be one of our sorority sisters, call right now. We'll take the first 3 callers, 215-263-WMMR. Put you on the list. We're going to have a free cocktail for you, free happy hour buffet, and we'll do some activities and games and things like that. We'll just have a good hang. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back in a second. Stay with us. We need you desperately. And we are happy you're here 13 minutes after 10 o'clock on this Wednesday morning. So we'll give away our secret text word in just a little while. And if you have not done that yet, you have the opportunity to get on it and text word secret to 39333 and Practical Jokers coming to Atlantic City in the summer. But in the meantime, we have something else that we're going to give away now, and that is via the lesson question. We're going to give away a 4-pack of tickets for the Philadelphia Golf and Travel Show, which is happening this weekend. Yeah. Philadelphia Expo Center in Oaks. And the question that we'll ask is this. And it was at 6:35 we said this. What superhero is going to help escort Taylor Swift from Japan to the Super Bowl? 215-263-WMMR. You had to have heard it, okay? What superhero is going to help escort Taylor Swift from Japan to the Super Bowl? 215-263-WMMR. Call right now if you know the answer. And while you're doing that, we'll do this.
The trash business is a gold mine. 93.3 WMMR with Preston and Steve's Hollywood Trash.
Brought to you this morning by CSB Media Arts Center. You can train for a career in broadcast media, web development, social media marketing, and filmmaking at CSB Media Arts Center in Cherry Hill. Visit GoCSB.com. That's GoCSB.com. What's going on this morning, Steve?
Well, Brad Pitt was reportedly all smiles while filming a scene with some locals at a small diner in Daytona, California. "These are my people," shouted Pitt, announcing that he had just purchased them. Hey! Sofia Vergara telling Andy Cohen her new rule for dating, which is no one who is younger than her 31-year-old son, Manolo. Vergara was quick to point out that by this rule, she'll always be able to date her son.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
A rare sighting of 81-year-old Calvin Klein with his boyfriend, 32-year-old male model Kevin Baker. Klein says despite the age difference, the years just melt away every time he sees Kevin's hog.
I'm sure. All right, we'll see if you know the answer to this. What superhero is going to help escort Taylor Swift from Japan to the Super Bowl? We will go to our calls. It is Sean that's up first. Hey, Sean. Morning, bud.
Good morning.
Good morning to see you, Sean. All right, who's going to escort Taylor Swift from Japan to the Super Bowl?
Aquaman.
Yes. Correct. Hold on, Sean. We are going to give you a 4-pack of those tickets for the Philadelphia Golf and Travel Show. It's this weekend, Friday through Sunday at the Philly Expo Center, and you can get unbelievable deals on golf equipment and accessories. Visit PhiladelphiaGolfShow.com for the info.
Now, Preston and Steve's Music News on 93.3 WMMR.
I can handle things. I'm smart.
I got a couple stories. We'll begin with this. Fresh off achieving EGOT status, Elton John is capping his decorated career with yet another esteemed accolade, the Library of Congress Gershwin Prize for Popular Music.
The Gershwin Prize is a highly coveted prize.
And he's going to share it with his longtime songwriting partner, the amazing Bernie Taupin. So they will receive the honor at an invitation-only tribute concert March 20th at DAR Constitution Hall.
So they still have the pancake breakfast with that?
They're working on it. So this is interesting, Steve. You talk about how prestigious this is. This will mark the 14th time that the Library of Congress has awarded the Gershwin Prize since it was introduced in 2007.
Yeah,
so
it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, so they don't give it out to everybody, and it's the third time that has gone to a songwriting duo after Gloria and Emilio Estefan, and in 2019, that was in 2019, and then Burt Bacharach and Hal David in 2012.
Did you say they're performing at the Constitution Hall?
Not here. The DAR Constitution Hall
in D.C.
Yes.
Yeah, it's named after the Beastmaster.
No, not DAR. Daughters of the American Revolution.
Oh, that's right.
But I've been there. I've seen shows there. It's a great venue, and it's like 3,000 seats. So if they're performing there, I mean, that's an incredible concert.
Yeah. So Joni Mitchell earned last year's honor, and other recipients have included Paul Simon, Stevie Wonder, Paul McCartney, Carole King, and Lionel Richie. Elton said, "I've been writing songs with Bernie for 56 years. And we never thought one day this might be bestowed upon us. It's an incredible honor for two British guys to be recognized like this. I'm so honored." And Taupin added, to be in a house along with the great American songwriters, to even be in the same avenue is humbling, and I'm absolutely thrilled to accept. So congratulations to both of them. That's huge. Ozzy Osbourne, Black Label Society frontman Zach Wilde is launching his very own music festival, and it's not too far away. One of the events will be the Ride for Dime, a charity Harley ride in memory of Pantera guitarist Dimebag Darrell Abbott. And there will also be a car show, music gear market, strongman competition, craft beer festival, battle of the bands, and a Miss Berserkus contest.
Miss Berserkus contest.
Yes.
We got to steal that.
And it'll be Black Label Society and Cody Jinks set to headline, and it will be taking place at Poconos Park in Bushkill, Pennsylvania. And the Iron Maidens, an all-female tribute to Iron Maiden, will be a part of it. And also, let's see, who else? There's there's a bunch of other people in the lineup. Rival Sons is on the lineup, Case. I know you like those guys. Atomic Punks, Zoso, which is a Led Zeppelin tribute. So Zach Wilde, who's been here before, is going to be.
I like the Iron Maidens. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. Remember Clitalica?
Yeah. Clitalica was terrific.
Yeah, and they were young, though, and their parents didn't want them with a band called Clitalica, and they were an all-female Metallica tribute group, so they changed the name to Miss Talica.
Which is still,
Come on.
but
they were great. But
didn't one of them go on to the guitarist go on to do stuff in
Cirque du
Vegas?
Soleil.
Yeah,
she was a guitarist for. Was it Cirque du Soleil? No, it was a Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson, yeah.
Tribute show that they had in Vegas, and she played in that show for quite a while.
Yeah.
She came back and promoted it. It was really cool. Yeah.
I understand the name of your band is Clitalica.
Yeah. What's that?
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
If there's a little boy in a boat, I might be interested.
There's a kid on, I coach basketball, and there's a kid on my team whose number is 68 because his mom wouldn't allow him to have the number that he wanted.
Did he want 69 because of, yeah.
Yes.
That's what a mom does.
Subtracted one.
Yeah.
I thought this is nice. The music of the late Glenn Campbell will be celebrated with an album of posthumously created duets. So it's called Glenn Campbell Duets, Ghost on the Canvas Sessions, and will feature, obviously, Glenn Campbell's vocals. He died in 2017, but it showcases Glenn sharing the mic with artists such as Eric Clapton, Elton John, Brian Wilson, Sting, Brian Setzer, Dolly Parton, and Eric Church. Here we go. Eric Clapton said, "I've always admired Glenn Campbell's guitar playing and loved his singing. Was moved recently when one of his final performances during his illness came on TV." He said also the project of 12 songs and 13 artists revisits Campbell's 2011 album Ghost on the Canvas, which was recorded following his diagnosis with Alzheimer's disease.
So Campbell was a studio musician with the legendary Wrecking Crew, and he started to jump in and sing a few parts when they needed a singer, and then that all progressed. But an amazing musician.
You want to have some fun, go search on YouTube Glenn Campbell or Glenn Campbell and Roy Clark together.
Yeah.
But just search them playing guitar. Search just Glenn Campbell guitar solo or Glenn Campbell and Roy Clark together. You'll be blown away about how technically proficient both of those guys were as guitar players. I mean, they're playing, like acoustic or electric, distortion guitars. It's all clean. But their picking and their speed, they were badass, man.
Yeah.
They were awesome.
I mean, I don't think so. People know Glenn Campbell in one way, but they don't realize he was the guy you wanted playing guitar.
Exactly. He was the dude that would be called in to play the part, because he was that good. He could play anything. The album release date is set for April 19th, by the way. Sad news here. Melinda Ledbetter, wife of Beach Boys singer Brian Wilson, has died. She was 77 years old. Wilson shared the news of his wife's death in an emotional Instagram post yesterday, writing, "My heart is broken. Melinda, my beloved wife of 28 years, passed away this morning. Our 5 children and I are just in tears. We are lost." Wilson went on to express his gratitude for Ledbetter's support through their nearly 3-decade marriage. They married in 1995. Ledbetter, a talent manager and former model, also served as Wilson's manager. He said, "She was my savior."
Well, I watched a documentary about a year and a half ago. It was Brian Wilson, and he has friends that he can be with because he still has issues and anxiety. This one reporter that he had a lifelong friendship with, he said, "Well, let's do this documentary. We'll hop in a car and drive around the different places that are sort of benchmark moments in the Beach Boys history, and because it's all in that area, and it was fascinating to watch. But you saw how important his wife was to him, because here was a guy who gets, he still will get that flare up of that old debilitating mental thing going on. But it was wild.
Yeah, so they had 5 kids together. So sad news for Brian Wilson. I mentioned this earlier. I'm going to bring it up again. Universal Music Group, the world's largest music company, said that it would stop licensing content to TikTok if the firm fails to reach a new contract with the social media app to pay its musicians. And they have some of the biggest musicians in the world with them. And the deal is up today. It's set to expire today. And the company alleged that TikTok proposed paying artists and songwriters at a rate that they said is a fraction of the rate that similarly situated major social platforms pay, and with a deal that is worth less than the previous deal that they have.
So what are you going to be able to use as a soundtrack when you're eating Tide Pods?
So there's everybody from Taylor Swift to Drake, Olivia Rodrigo, The Weeknd, Eminem, a whole bunch, and emerging artists as well. A group that Universal said TikTok tried to leverage to reach a deal. Universal allegedly said TikTok tried to intimidate the firm by selectively removing the music of some developing artists while keeping bigger artists on the platform. So they said that while TikTok has gained outsized importance for the music industry in recent years as it fosters discovery and virility, the actual revenue contribution from the company itself has been paltry. Music executives say it is, in its letter to artists, Universal said TikTok contributes to about 1% of its revenue.
It's the same story. It's played over and over again with all the social media sites.
Yeah, TikTok is trying to build a music-based business without paying for fair value for the music, Universal said. If the deals lapse, without new contracts in place, TikTok would be responsible for removing billions of videos from the service.
Could you imagine?
That contain music from Universal's recorded music and publishing catalog.
And my guess is there'll be a last-minute solution to all this. But it'll be wild to see if there isn't.
Yeah, it has to happen today. So we'll see how that plays out. And then one last thing. An Instagram user and meteorologist, his name is Weather Adam, and I'm not sure what city he's out of.
Oh, yeah.
He decided to have a little bit of fun by incorporating lyrics to Disturbed's Down with the Sickness in his weather report.
He did Disturbed as well?
Yeah.
Because he did Dave Matthews last week, yeah.
Yeah, so he said, you may have to clear your throat like, ooh, at the beginning of it. And he just starts going into the lyrics and snuck in, drowning deep in my sea of loathing. And, quote, suddenly it changes, violently it changes into his forecast. Now, is he just doing forecasts on Instagram, or is he a TV guy?
No, he's a TV guy.
Okay. 1.3 million Instagrammers appreciate the weatherman taking their song request, by the way. Here you go. The Houston chief meteorologist.
Houston chief meteorologist.
Has also incorporated lyrics from Eminem's Without Me and Metallica's Enter Sandman into his weather report. So pretty cool little thing to do. And that is what we have in music news for you this morning. All right. We are going to take a break, but Kathy, I need a winner for the secret text word. So what number caller is it going to be?
10.
All right, call number 10, 215-263. WMMR, you need to know the secret text word. We'll get our winner when we come back and wrap up the show as well. Stay put. Sleep Theory, and the song is Numb. We just had those guys by. They were great, man. They were super nice. Young band. You could tell they're just starting to dive into the thick of it.
And where do they get their initial traction?
TikTok. Yeah. But they were, I love seeing new bands like that come in and they're still hyped and taking it all in, that things are starting to happen for them. So
playing Mario Kart.
Yeah. That's what they were way into. So.
And he was a little sleepy, but as soon as I felt like as soon as he started the interview, he was good to go.
Yeah, his name was Cullen, by the way. Same as my
Same as your dad.
Wild,
Bill Weston would call him Cuthbert.
Cuthbert. Bill could never get that.
You know, we missed Bill's birthday yesterday.
Yes.
We didn't say anything on air.
I know.
Oh, he's gone. We don't care.
I know. No, I feel the same way about him.
Dead does.
Yeah. It's nice to have him go, right?
We would have done Talk Like Bill Weston Day.
I know.
And we kind of let that one go. Maybe we can share that with Ann Gorski Day. I don't know.
I tell you what, we better get his ass up at the Cardboard Classic, because Bill says he made passing mention of it. Love him to be a guest up there.
Yeah.
And Bill loves it. And he can wear that lovely Harley Davidson jacket that I received.
Yep, we got him.
According to my calendar, National Talk Like Bill Weston Day is Sunday, April 21st this year. So we will, maybe we can shift it to Monday or Tuesday of that week.
Okay, that'll work. Did he say? Okay.
Shift.
I know, but I think
I
that
heard it
the F
too.
was glossed over.
And I'm sure he said it right.
Okay, all right, fair enough. But just in case, I hit the dump button.
This way we're not doing time in Leavenworth.
Yeah. All right, because that's
what you get
That's
if you
what you
say the
get.
curse word on the radio. A lot of people don't know it.
All right, we were looking for caller number 10, and we are getting our winner for the secret text word, and it's Dan who's on the line. Hi, Dan.
Hey, guys.
Hey, bud, what is the secret text word, sir?
Vampire.
Yes. Yes. You got it right. Hang on, buddy. We are going to give you a pair of tickets to see the Impractical Jokers, the Drive tour. Oh, now I know why you said vampire. Okay, hang on. These are for 6 p.m. show. For the 6 p.m. show Saturday, July 13th at Ovation Hall at Ocean Casino Resort. Tickets for 2 shows that evening go on sale Friday at 10 a.m. at theoceanac.com. So it's Impractical Jokers, and Casey a lot of times will pick the secret text word, and he shows vampire because there's a segment they do where they as a punishment, Murr has to be they dress him up as a vampire, and he doesn't know what they're going to do with him, and they put him in front of a live audience in a gospel choir, and he has to sing all these gospel songs dressed as like an old school Bela Lugosi vampire. It's hilarious. It's just so random and weird. So good call on that, Casey. The random texter is Susan Malito of Laurel Springs, New Jersey. So she will get those tickets.
Congratulations.
To see Impractical Jokers as well. I would like to thank Dr. Rosenpenis.
Yes.
Dr. Rosenberg, Great American Smokeout. It already came and went, but we did the event today. QuitItNow.com, and we...
Oh, it's me, Dr. Rosenpenis.
Yes, and we had several people who are still in our studio right now who went through the process, and we're hoping for good things, no more smoking in their lives. We'll find out. I asked them to call back in a year.
Yes,
Let us know.
I think we have a bunch of winners here that are going to do it.
We had Tom Segura.
Yay!
Who was great. He's at the Hard Rock and AC on Friday and Saturday, and you can go to Ticketmaster.com or TomSegura.com and get those tickets. And then he's in Reading tomorrow night at the Sundar Arena thingy.
Fire and Sky.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was nice to talk to Tom. Wow.
Santa's got to go.
After butchering the name, then saying thingy.
It's the thingy. Pierre Robert's here. How do, sir?
Why, good day.
Nice to see you.
I have many things to report.
Please do.
All right.
Report away.
Well, the first thing is they just came out of a meeting, programming meeting, a few days ago and came up with this great idea. Today's the 31st, so Black History Month starts tomorrow. Yep. And so we're going to do a really cool thing along with Jackie Bam Bam celebrating Black History Month. And it's going to be honoring all these amazing African-American artists who have contributed to rock and roll music. And so every weeknight in February at 8 p.m., Bam Bam is going to put the spotlight on various incredible artists who have built the foundation of this home of rock and roll that we live in.
And some of the legendary, the legendary rock artists always acknowledge the derivation from blues and all of these great artists that were in many cases were sort of unsung and only appreciated after the fact.
Yeah, so Chuck Berry and Little Richie. Yeah. Fats Domino. They created rock and roll. They created it.
And when you saw the legendary British bands come over, everyone from Eric Clapton to the Beatles to the Rolling Stones to Led Zeppelin were so influenced by Willie Dixon and, Muddy Waters and those kinds of things. And it's all connected. It's also interconnected. But Bam Bam's going to feature everyone from Chuck Berry to James Brown, Tina Turner, Sam and Dave, Stevie Wonder, Darlene Love, Supremes. It's going to be
Doris Day.
Doris Day was very influential.
I don't know.
Will be the star of Black History Month this particular month. Where in God's name did you pull that out?
I'm trying to make the whitest person I could think of.
that ever lived. That's what he went with.
Was brilliant. Anyway, it's going to start next Wednesday, a week from tonight, and I wanted to put in a plug for that.
I love it. And I'm glad you said Sam and Dave. Man, do I love Sam and Dave.
Amazing stuff, right?
Just the best. Yeah. We spoke to Dave, I think. Or was it Sam? I can't remember. It was so long ago.
Which one are you?
It was a great conversation, but it was like the first year that we were on the air here at MMR. So I love the fact that they're doing that. And that starts tomorrow night. Cool. Excellent.
Is it?
Tomorrow night, yeah.
Well, the first.
Today's the
Tuesday?
31st.
So tomorrow's the first.
So tomorrow's the first. I assume it
But
starts
it's going to
tomorrow.
be every
7 minutes.
Wednesday. Is today Tuesday?
Today is Wednesday.
So I think it's starting in a week then, right?
Okay.
Well, maybe they're starting tonight. I don't know.
You're the one giving us
Tomorrow would be the first.
It's going to be every Wednesday.
What?
You're telling us what's going on.
I don't know. What do you want from me? I'm just a sports guy. I chew tobacco and spit.
No,
in the
that's your
locker room.
sports guy. That's your sports guy.
I don't know. I'm just trying to build a team.
Chuck, if you're
Wusses?
listening, come down here and tell us.
He just walked away. He was
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
here.
he's quitting.
Every weeknight in February. Oh, it's every
weeknight, not every Wednesday.
I just
There
completely
he goes.
effed that up.
Yeah.
Let's start
This
over.
is breaking
Again,
news.
the eyes of a
Hi,
falcon.
Good morning, Preston and Steve. I thought it said Wednesday and it said weeknight.
We'll fix it in post.
And what it's going to be is it's going to be an appreciation of every blank artist. No, that's black.
Black artist.
Oh,
Black
All right, so every
artists.
weeknight. So it'll probably start tomorrow.
It's going to start tomorrow. I knew I wasn't plugging it a week out. I thought I would. I said, well, we should plug that at least a day before.
Well, and
then all of a sudden it's every Wednesday. But lo
But you'd
and
be
behold,
losing days for Black History Month if you.
It says weeknight.
Yeah.
So starts tomorrow.
And Doris Day will kick it off.
There we go.
All right. And
News you can sort
what
of
was
trust.
that woman that had a thing with Burt Reynolds?
Oh, you're talking about Lonnie Anderson?
No, the one before.
Sally
her.
Field?
No. the
Oh,
one
you're talking
before.
about the Dinah Shore?
Dinah Shore.
Yeah.
It'll be starting with Dinah Shore and Doris Day.
All right.
All right. So let's do the letter.
There you go. All right, let's. Hey, it's like the first time ever you have ushered the letter along.
I just want to get out of my own way as quickly as
Preston
possible.
and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Now, the Daily Letter.
All right, the Preston and Steve Show is brought to you today by the letter.
A as in astounding.
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 We have a $500 Joseph Anthony gift card to give away. The ultimate destination for all things beauty and wellness is closer than you might think, and you can treat yourself to a day of relaxation at Joseph Anthony in Glen Mills, Springfield, and Center City, Philadelphia. And we'll give that away on Friday. I'm sure you have oodles of things planned for today, right?
I have oodles. In fact, Chad Taylor's going to be at this wonderful club, Vinyl, tonight. It's at 215 South 15th Street. Chad Taylor is a guitarist of Live, and he came in last Wednesday and played us some great live songs that he sings, and will be accompanied by his group tonight at Vinyl. So we've got tickets to give away for that, a block of Live to go along with that. We've got Weezer, we've got Rolling Stones, and I hold in my hand a just released special edition of the brand new album, the Hackney Diamonds album, and on it is the entire concert that I went to in
That
New
you
York
saw.
City.
Wow.
And they have just released it, and I will play a couple of songs from it, including Sweet Sounds of Heaven from that little club called the Racket Club a month or two ago. And Lady Gaga comes out on this little tiny stage with the effing Rolling Stones and does this wicked duet with Mick Jagger live, and we will play that for you in the Stones.
Was it about 6, 7 songs they did?
They did 7 songs. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it was, mostly new, but they did Shattered, Tumbling Dice, Jumpin' Jack Flash, Angry as you might expect, a couple of other new songs from the album. It was really cool moment, thanks to Bill Weston.
Excellent. You're going to be playing that today?
I'm going to be, not the whole concert, but I will play a couple songs from it, yeah.
I love it. All right, let me take a moment to thank our sponsors. Preston and Steve Show has been brought to you today by Duncan, and the Preston and Steve Show runs on Duncan. Tomorrow on our program, tune in because we have... You know what? I'm not going to tell you.
Oh,
No. If you tell.
It's a secret.
Well,
Tune in tomorrow.
Dinah Shore.
That's it. We're done. Rage on. Have a great day. We'll see you later, gang. Bye-bye.
Thank you.